welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video because I thought I would break down everything glutes for you, okay? Because growing your glutes is really actually so simple. It does not have to be hard, it does not have to be complicated. So I thought I would kind of make this video and show you everything, all my tips and tricks, and tell you that it really is actually so simple and you don't need to go into the gym and do 45 odd exercises to grow your glutes. You need to stick to the basics. I'm going to show you like my top 4 glute exercises that I would pick if I had only 4 to do for the rest of my life. I thought I'd give you like all my tips and tricks. I wanted to talk about 3 different things that I think make the biggest impact on your glutes, and so the first one is not doing enough volume of training. So if you're only hitting legs 1 time a week, like really you're only working those muscles 1 time a week. So I would say at least a minimum of 2 leg days. Like honestly, I think sometimes for a lot of people, myself included, anything more than 2 is just not realistic. Like sometimes I'm so sore that I can't get a 3rd one in, so I think 2 is like a really good sweet spot. You're working those muscles 2 times a week rather than just 1. Like it's really gonna train your muscles and like obviously work them harder. So volume of training I think is important, but that being said, I think going heavy in your training is also important. So I prefer low weight heavy, I prefer low rep heavy weight rather than high rep low weight. I just think that has made the biggest difference in my own physique journey, and that is definitely what I would like to tell anybody to do. Once you get your form down, I think for sure when you're new or starting out, like get your form down. That's the most important thing that you will do. So going off of that, I feel like another common mistake that people make is like not eating enough, especially as like a girl, you know, it's like just being a girl's hard. But eating enough to like sustain the muscle that you're trying to build is so important, because if you're not fueling your body enough, your muscles aren't going to grow, and your goosey buns are muscles, so we want them to grow, you know? So eating enough, eating like a well-rounded, very micronutrient dense diet, like we gotta hit them all. We got carbs, fats, protein, like don't cut anything out. You need a little bit of everything. And my last like 3rd, I don't even know if these are tips, just like my 3rd, I'm not even sure what these are, okay, is that changes take time. Like anybody that's gonna tell you like, oh, transform your glutes in 5 weeks, 2 months, like whatever, no, it is a slow process. Like if it was easy, everybody would do it. And so just realize that going into this, like changes really take time. And so I think that's something that's really important to keep in mind, is like you're not going to do this overnight, especially growing such a big muscle like your glutes. Any physique change is not going to happen overnight. And so really give yourself grace through the whole process. Like the process is fun. Seeing you like meet your goals and whatever you've set for yourself is fun. So really like changes take time. Moral of my very rambling story here. Okay, so next I wanted to go through my 4 favorite glute exercises. I technically have 5 because I have 1 honorable mention, but these are like my 4 staple exercises. Because like I was saying, you don't need to do like 100 different exercises at the gym. Like pick 4, 5, shit, some days do 3. I won't lie, some days I only do 3. And that's good enough for me. So just pick a few like basic exercises, master those movements, and then just keep doing it, but keep getting heavier. And so if I had to pick 4, my first one would be a hip thrust. I feel like this is the bread and butter of a glute day, right? Some sort of a hip thrust movement. And so get them heavy. Like I said, low rep, heavy weight, so good. So that would be my number 1. My number 2 would be any sort of split squat. I prefer mine Bulgarian, any sort of kind of like split leg lunge. I'm going to go through like each exercise and like kind of explain it a little bit more after this, but any sort of Bulgarian, I actually hate Bulgarian split squats, but they are so good for you. And I feel like once I started doing them really consistently, made a big difference for me. So even though I hate them, they're so good for you. Okay, my 3rd one would be a squat. This would be any sort of variation of a squat. I prefer to do back squats, anything you want. So good. So it's gonna work like your whole leg. It's gonna give you like, you don't want just a glute on like a stick, you know, you want like a whole, all good, the whole leg good. So I feel like a squat is just such a well-rounded movement and like strengthens everything, and so that is something that I really try to incorporate a few times a week for me. My 3rd one, oh no, I can't count, I'm on 4. My 4th one. My 4th one would be any variation of like a Romanian deadlift. So you could do them with barbells, dumbbells, whatever you prefer. Okay, my 4th one would be an RDL. Any variation of RDL that you like. Could be could be barbells, could be dumbbells. I prefer mine with a barbell. I think I can just feel it a little bit better than I do with separated dumbbells. You could even do them like B stands. I feel like those are kind of fun sometimes. Any variation of that. I think those are like the recipe for such a good leg day, is just keeping it simple, keeping it to the basics, and like really focusing on that mind to muscle connection, because I think that's something that I struggled with when I first started lifting for a long time. And that's something that you kind of just have to learn and like think about those muscles and really connect them for like optimal muscle growth. So I said I have one honorable mention. This is an honorable mention because I feel like the 4 I mentioned before you can kind of do anywhere. You could do them at home, you could do them at the gym, you could do them on vacation, like literally anywhere, because there's just such basic movement. But it would be a back extension, and so obviously if you don't have like a back extension machine, I'm sure you could rig something up to do it at home, but that's why that one's an honorable mention. I feel like it's so good. I love a back extension as like a finisher at the end of my leg day to really just like kick my butt, literally. But that is also like a really good one. So I thought let's go and like break each exercise down and really how to target your glutes for each, because like I said, it does not have to be hard, it does not have to be complicated. So okay, I thought I would walk you through my 4 favorite glute exercises. I know the first one I talked about was hip thrusts, but I'm outside. I don't really want to lay down on the ground. But my tips and tricks for that would definitely be, number 1, get a pad. Get like one of those barbell pads. Otherwise it's going to hurt your hips so bad. So I think I got one for like $10 off of Amazon. I have like a whole, like I did all my gym girly favorites. So I'll link that video here, but I talk about it in there. It was literally $10 off Amazon. It's pink. It's real cute. But get one of those for sure. And then really think about like driving your hips forward and like not using your quads, anything at all. Really just focusing on that mind muscle connection to your glutes. I feel like that one's pretty, it's like a pretty easy, pretty basic movement. So those would be my biggest tips for hip thrusts. My second one was Bulgarian split squats. So then I'd walk you through, I don't have anything out here to put my leg on though. My second exercise was Bulgarian split squats. So I thought I'd show you how we set them up, because I know sometimes it can be kind of confusing, like where to put your foot. So I have a very sturdy chair. Obviously I would not really use this if I was like really gonna do them. But so I always start with whatever foot, just pick whichever foot you want to start with. And then I'll go to the ground. And so I kind of like lean back on that foot, and then I stick this leg out straight, like my working leg out straight. And then stand up from there. That usually puts you in like a pretty good vicinity of like where you want to be for the split squat. Okay, pause. For this one, to really like target your glute, is to bend like a little bit. I'm being really primal right now. I'm outside with no shoes on, so my balance is really bad. Hold on. But it's to lean like a little bit forward. So instead of being like straight up and down like this, like lean a little bit more forward. It puts a little bit of more weight like onto your glute, and it's easier to like target and focus it. I feel like I have a better mind muscle connection if I just like hinge forward just a little bit. Like obviously you don't want to be like bent in half, so I don't even know how you do that, but just a little bit of a bend forward will put more weight on that back leg. Okay, so for Bulgarian split squats, how I like to do the weight is, I know some people do like a weight in each hand. I prefer to do just one weight in one hand. So if I'm going to work my left leg, I'll hold it in my right arm, and then I kind of just like rest it against my non-working knee. So I'll just kind of hold it, like kind of rest it against that leg, and then you just go from there. But you can do whatever's most comfortable. This is just how I prefer to do that. 2's enough. That's all you get. My butt is so sore.
Okay, we're going.
Okay, raining behind needles in my hair. Okay, my next one was a squat. I prefer to do a barbell back squat, but like I said, you can do them any variation. So my biggest tips for a squat would be to keep your feet shoulder width apart and really think about driving through your heels. I think that made the biggest difference for me, feeling them in my glutes more than anywhere else. It's like you really want to think like when you're down to like drive through your heels and like really think about like your glutes pushing you back up. I think that's made a big difference for me. Okay, so if I was gonna do dumbbell squats, I'd either hold it like this. What's this called, Jordan?
Goblet squat.
A goblet squat. Or if it's really heavy, we're on a hill. Almost took my toes off. Then I would hold it more like this. Like, what's this one called?
Same thing.
Okay, no name for this, but same thing. Because sometimes if you do this really heavy, I can't get it up to my collarbone. So, anyways. Okay, so you want to start with your feet like shoulder width apart. And like I was saying, really think about driving through your heels. I think one of the biggest things that has made a difference for me is really opening my hips before I go. Just like really stretching out my hip flexors. And really open, oh my god, workplace injury. Is really opening my hip flexors and like really allowing me to get depth in that squat. Hot out here. Okay, last one is RDLs. I think this one can be confusing for a lot of people, so I'm gonna try and break it down and be as simple as I can. So like I said, you can either do this with barbells or dumbbells. I have dumbbells at home today. So we're gonna do it with dumbbells, but you're gonna wanna start with your feet like shoulder width apart. And the biggest thing is to push your hips back. Like, don't think about like bending in half. You want to think of like pushing your hips backwards. Like, usually there's a wall, like something in the gym like that you're like thinking about, like physically pushing your goosey buns to that wall. So like pushing back rather than like bending in half. Like all the other ones, I didn't really talk about this, but really bracing your core I think has made a big difference for me, mostly in RDLs. So you're gonna want to brace your core and then think about pushing your hips backwards. And then once you feel it in your hamstrings kind of a stretch, then you're gonna want to come back up. And I really think about my glutes like pulling the rest of my body back up rather than just like trying to muscle it up, you know? One of my last biggest tips I think for RDLs is to keep your chin tucked. So like when you're going the movement, like you don't want to like keep your head like eyes looking forward. You want to like tuck your chin and like keep all of your spine in a line. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's just going to protect your back. It's going to feel better in the lift overall. So I think I'm out of breath. I think that is all of my glute like tips and tricks, my favorite 4 exercises. I hope this really simplified things for you a little bit, because growing your glutes really does not have to be that hard. It's pretty simple. Don't let people try to overcomplicate it for you. And so I hope this was just a little simple explanation of that. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.